Let's hang out on air is live.
Is it? Is that what's going on?
It is.
Brought
Hi,
to you by
everybody. My
yes.
name is Jeremy Johnson, and this is episode 36 of Brew You. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Justin Leveque.
What's going on?
Nothing. What's going on with you?
Nothing. Same
Good.
old.
Just thought we'd have a little beer in the afternoon today.
Sounds like a plan to me. Been
And
waiting for it.
I think we have to wait 15 seconds for it to be afternoon for you, right?
I was about to say,
A little bit of afternoon delight. Nothing wrong with
not
that.
pushing any bad morals on the show.
Yeah. For those of you joining us for the first time, Justin and I love beer, and we love to talk about beer and other things. So today we're going to be drinking two brand new beers and giving them a rating after we examine them very carefully with our refined palates, our beer-loving palates.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
And,
some.
and then some, yeah.
And then
And,
some.
and then we'll talk a little bit about that, and basically after we're done reviewing our beers, we'll kick back a little bit and talk about a couple other things. I've got a few things to talk about, but that's it. So why don't we jump right into it? And if you want to, there's a Q&A app. You're welcome to ask questions during the broadcast if you're watching, which I see 0 viewers, so there's nobody watching.
Well, good to know.
Yeah, well, that's
Pressure's off.
indication. Yeah, zero
We can
zero
just
seems
let
a little.
ourselves go.
0 seems a little low, um, but feel free to chime in. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, feel free to leave some comments. Subscribe, share, like, and subscribe the video, and we'll keep making these puppies. So in the meantime, we're just going to drink, so let's get it on, baby. The first thing I'm going to be doing, well, the only thing, the first thing today, let's put it that way, is going to be Mamma Mia pizza beer.
Oh, I've seen that on the shelf before.
Yeah, it's I have no idea what to expect here. It's a nice hefty bottle, which I really like, and it says Sprecher on it, but I think that's just the style of bottle. I don't think it's got anything to do with the actual beer. But it's ale brewed with oregano, basil, tomato, and garlic.
That doesn't sound half bad.
I'm hoping well, I guess what they did was they actually brewed pizza in the beer.
Interesting.
So that's what I'm drinking.
Well, I'm doing Lagunitas Nighttime Ale. Nighttime Fear the Dark with this crafty label art here that you can actually. I was talking to the whatever you want to call him at Metropolitan Market today, and as per the norm, you can't actually tell what kind of beer that this is, so I actually had to look it up, and it appears to be a black ale. So
Okay. So not necessarily a black IPA and
correct.
probably not a stout or anything like that, but just a black ale. There seems to be a lot of black ales on the market these days.
Yeah, definitely. I miss it. Well, at least there are in Michigan. I know you can find black IPAs and black ales everywhere. Here, they're still not as common. Actually, I had that conversation with the guy at Metropolitan Market. So
All right.
they only have one or two on their shelves there, actually. So
Okay. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it here at a couple places, but like you said, it's a special release, so um, might be hard to find. What are you expecting to taste? What do you think's gonna pop out at you?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Coming from Lagunitas, probably something floral, maybe. Actually, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we know Lagunitas mostly for their IPAs and sort of hoppier beers. The
Right.
Maximus, the IPA, the Pale Ale. Even the Pale Ale is a little bit hoppy. So I think you're right. You'd probably expect to taste something
Maybe
floral, dark.
something fruity, like dark fruit.
Okay, like plums and cherries and watermelon.
Now we shall see.
All right, let's try it. Let's crack these puppies open.
Yeah, boy. So what's on the rest of your plan for today?
I don't know yet. The senior PGA is in town, and so
You're
Juliet's
not
off.
65 yet, are you?
What's that?
You're not 65 yet, are you?
Not yet. No, I'm a little ways away from that. Whoa. Um, it,
Sorry, you said seniors, and
yeah, yeah.
had to jump at it. Although they're more in your range for golfing, aren't they?
Probably, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
different glass today.
not as good. Well, this is it says right on the bottle. Uh, beer so good it deserves a wine glass. You can see that right on the top there. Beer so good it deserves a wine glass. So I got a wine glass.
Oh, fair enough.
This is one of our Riddell. Um, it's not Riddell. It's a Divino by I can't see who Rosenthal, but one of our big red glasses that we like to use. So very deep golden color there. You can see not a whole lot of effervescence. Creamy, lacy head. Uh, very little, half a finger maybe. Um, looks pretty though. Looks like normal ale.
Got about a one finger head. It's starting to dissipate a little bit. Some thick lacing, and it's a dark black, obviously. Pretty cloudy. There's a little amber tinge to it.
Would you say it was cloudy with a chance of meatballs?
Actually, cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
Meatballs.
I guess that would fit the theme of our show today. You've got a pizza beer, meatballs.
Kind of thinking that,
Italian.
yeah.
And Lagunitas is definitely Italian, so.
Clearly.
Clearly, I mean, the name, right? And look, there's a dog on the front.
Just as much as you are.
Yeah, I mean. Can you review?
Lagunitas, Leveque, kind of just, it's an L word, so.
We have a question from Ian Bresky.
Oh, we do, yeah. Can you review Miller Fortune next? Yeah, well, let's see.
What is this fortune you speak of?
Yes, Miller Fortune. Yeah, that'd be nice. I heard it sucks ass, but I haven't tried it. I wish you had told me because I ran to the store about an hour and a half ago, and I was up for anything. That's why I chose this pizza beer because I thought it would be weird, and I just wanted to do something weird today. So I don't expect to like it, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, okay, what are you getting on the nose? J.
Citrus. And my sniffer is not working all that awesome, but I'll let you dive into that.
Well, this smells like pizza.
Is it really is that what the chuckle is for? Just straight up.
Oh my God, it smells like pizza.
Is it garlicky or?
Oh, it smells like a really traditional Italian pizza. I can smell tomato sauce big time, seasonings. There is just a little bit of a sour tang that must be the beer. Sort of like a cream ale maybe, but it could be cream ale.
Is that brick oven? Is that a brick oven pizza? You think, or?
No, this
Is there a toastiness to it?
It's got a kind of a DiGiorno thing going on, like the classic DiGiorno.
So it smells like a delivery pizza.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
It's yeasty. I can pick up all the stuff. I can pick up the oregano, the basil, the garlic, the tomato. Everything is there. I mean, it's just it's that. This is kind of scary. I don't know. What are you getting on yours?
I don't think I've ever seen you nervous about drinking a beer before. Like I said, my sniffer is still not working that well. It's allergy season. Just like mild citrus, kind of maybe some malt. Actually, I think it's leaning more towards a stout kind of smell to it.
Okay.
But I'm not getting a lot off the nose.
It's keeping its secrets, right?
It is. It is.
Nighttime or whatever.
Yeah, there's even some crafty text on the side about it being scary and interesting, obviously. There's a whole little story on the side there, which is really not definitive of actually what it is, so I don't know.
The more I sniff this, the hungrier I get.
And I think I'm going to have pizza today. I'm going to skip salmon unless I have salmon on my pizza.
But it's free salmon. Why don't you go?
We'll see.
All right.
Well, you ready, sir?
Let's dig into it, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers. Um, we got a question here from Chris Pirlo. How much you drink? I think he means how much do you drink?
I think he's actually just talking with an accent.
How much you drink? Well, to answer your question, Chris, today we're
Not
drinking
enough.
not enough, never enough, but we are drinking one bottle today. So I'm drinking the Mamma Mia pizza beer, and Jay's drinking the Lagunitas.
Lagunitas
So
nighttime.
we're just doing one bottle today. So I mean, at least on the show. I mean, thanks for the
What?
question. All right, what's your impression there, big guy?
um, it's a really interesting style. It's got some hops, some sweetness at the end. It is 8.2%, so I think I'm getting a little bit of that heated back. And it has a kind of a strange, like fruity chocolate kind of note to it. So it kind of starts off with a stout and ends up kind of dry with a like a dry chocolate, like a dry like cocoa-y dark fruit or dark um, not grapefruit, but kind of a darker citrusy fruit kind of tone.
I would expect to see a little bit of grapefruit in there. I mean, it's a West Coast beer, and if they're using any hops, it's probably going to have a little bit of grapefruit stuff going on.
What about yourself?
Mm,
I think it's gonna take me a second to.
yeah. Well, this is a really weird beer. Um, no, that's okay, Chris. You don't have to apologize. We're just having fun with you. So, um, this is a really strange beer. It's got a very light, frothy mouthfeel. Um, I have no idea what the ABV on this thing is. I don't think it's on here anyplace. Um, but it tastes very sessionable. It's a very light beer. It could be a Czech Pilsner. Seems like it sort of the base. I mean, or sort of a Peroni, same sort of lager kind of base to it. Um, all of the elements come right out at you. I mean, you can taste crust, you can taste tomato, basil, oregano, garlic. It it is pizza in a glass. Um, right now, I'm getting all those spices sort of like are laying on the tongue as the aftertaste. Just like you had like a cheap Italian pizza with all of those spices done very heavily, and you eat it, and that's what you taste at the very end of your meal, and it's not a bad experience. I mean, this is hilarious too because this bottle was I think $2.99, so in the realm of beers, it's that's not a terrible price for something so specialized. I would be really curious to see what this tastes like if you're eating pizza because I'm not sure there's a 1-to-1 ratio there. I'm not sure it's a perfect match. I think that if you're in the mood for pizza but you want to drink a beer, this sort of fills that hole for you, like all in one swoop. It's a cure-all. It is a really strange beer, and I'm kind of liking it.
So the question is it good enough to be drank in a wine glass?
I think it's absolutely essential because, as we know, even with an IPA, anytime where the nose is crucial to the tasting experience, you want to be able to focus that. And so putting it in a wine glass, especially like this, it only enhances the flavor. So this $2.99 beer tastes like a $5 bottle of beer, you know. So I mean, you sniff it and you smell all of those components. I think it really helps. Yeah, I could see this with like if I had just some nice toasted bread,
I was gonna say
maybe
some
a little
garlic bread or
Parmesan or something. Yeah, but I
garlic
don't want to
cheese bread.
go. I don't want to go too close to pizza, but just like some bread that I could like chew on and then take this, I think that would just about do it. Maybe bread with some ham on it, like Serrano ham,
Ooh.
like little crostinis, and then with this, I think that would be a really nice food pairing. Um, it's still a really weird beer.
And where are they out of? Distribution? Is it Chicago or is it?
I don't think so. Let me see if I've got that on here anyplace.
I know I've seen that bottle in Grand Rapids before, but I'm just wondering how far out it gets.
Okay, it is actually brewed by Sprecher, out of
Sprecher is in the soda,
yeah, it's
the glass
Wisconsin,
soda. Yeah,
hmm Glendale, Wisconsin, and it's brewed especially for the Seaforth Pizza Beer Company. But like I said, there's no ABV or anything on here. Oh, there it is right there, 4.7%. So it is a sessionable beer.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a really wacky beer. I mean, it's very niche. It's very unusual, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's kind of fun. I mean, it's no worse than Shorts, their Bloody Mary beer. Where they did it with sun-dried tomatoes and spices. It's got a similar, although theirs is much heavier. I think it's called Here's Bludge in Your Eye. Is that what it's called? The Shorts. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know enough about shorts. I really wish I would have had more when I was there, but that
well,
was the one brewery though. They had beer all over the shelves. I just didn't check out all that often.
they've gotten better. Shorts. I think for a while they're kind of fell down slightly. They were putting out some stuff that was just kind of you know standard, I guess you'd say. And then
Right.
Shorts got their start by doing some really unusual stuff. And then I think weren't they the ones that were having problems with their bottling, and they had a whole bunch of bottles that sort of went bad, and because of a bad capping system. I think that was Shorts. This was a couple years back, and but since then they have really sort of upped their game and started to produce some really like good quality beers, but also really some good unusual ones too. So I think because last week I did Chatterbox, right?
Yeah, I'll be last week. Yep. Last week was a good week.
It was. This is crazy. This
So
is
now this has warmed up a little bit and it's developed more. It's I'm getting a lot of imperial stout tones. It's very salty. It's medium bodied. It's actually kind of heavy. Um, and there's like a deep dark fruit backing to it, like a plum or like some kind of dark fruit in the back. But the imperial stout, especially since I just had an imperial stout just before this, actually, I had that Russian stout by Wells and Son or something. It's
mhm.
called Courage. That was the other one that I was telling you that I was going back and I was deciding about.
Yeah.
But this has really thick Russian Imperial Stout tones with a fruity back. It's very bitter. And I think at 8.2%, the alcohol is just it's a little acidic and a little sweet for me. But
Okay.
hmm.
That's kind of why I avoided that one. I
Yeah,
didn't want any of that.
well, I was hoping it was going to be more like a black ale, or well, more of a black IPA than more of a black ale. Yeah, so this is definitely leaning more towards stout, which was not what I thought it was going to be.
I
And
was
even
hope. Yeah, I
and
was
some
hoping for
reviews that I
something.
read on it too were thinking that it was going to be a more of a black IPA, and some people said that it was a black IPA, but the hops aren't really all that evident in it.
Hmm.
It's very heavily imperial stout toned. But
Okay. Well, fair
anyhow,
enough.
yeah.
Well, let's round this up and give our final thoughts on a rating. I'll start off. This is Mamma Mia pizza beer. I kind of thought this was going to be a joke beer, essentially. I didn't take it seriously at all because it's pizza brewed in a beer. That just seems so silly. But I have to say, it kind of works. It's not something you're going to sit and guzzle a six pack. That's for dang sure. But it just has a really unique characteristic with all of those spices sort of there's really nothing more classic or better than a good pizza with those toppings on it. And yeast in beer and yeast in pizza has been sort of the yin yang thing going on for forever. Since there's been both, people want to put beer in pizza dough, and you always want to drink beer with pizza. So it just makes sense to make a beer that actually has pizza in it, and it works. And for what it is, it might be a little gimmicky, but it's no more gimmicky than like Voodoo Donut.
Do you think that would be hard to replicate as far as making it on yourself?
I don't think so. I think it would be really, really super duper simple. The only thing that I mean, because you wouldn't want to like make a pizza. They said basically they took the dough or the crusts and after they cooked it and put it into a hop sack and let that steep in the
That makes
fermenter.
sense.
Yeah, it kind of makes. I mean, that's the only thing I ever do
No,
when
exactly.
I'm doing my IPAs or whatever. It's you just put the extra stuff in a hop sack if it's any potential to clog up the system, and let it steep just like you would a tea bag. It's the same sort of deal. And that's all they did here. The spices that they could add straight to the wort, the liquid, with no problems. And I think I could easily replicate this. The only thing I'm a little confused about is what is the base of the beer. It's lager for sure. It if there were some sort of Italian or Czech Pilsner maybe style, that would make sense to me. I'd like to see it in a cream ale. I think that might be fun. I would even do it maybe in a red or an amber.
I think that
That's
would make
yeah.
sense. That goes great with beer.
Yeah, I think there's some inherent sweetness there in both ambers and reds that might translate to a yeasty sweet crust. I know
Right.
some people actually put sugar in their dough to give it a little bit of sweetness. I know Joel Bush would never would do that, but that would violate some sort of code. Um, but yeah, I think this could easily. I say that easily. I think this could be replicated. Shouldn't be a big problem. Teabag. Um,
I knew that was coming. I was waiting.
yeah. Uh, anyways, for originality, I'm going to give this an 8 right out of the gate. I think they've really like captured the essence of pizza in a beer. It's not something you would drink a lot of, and maybe it's something you wouldn't seek out on a regular basis. But for what they did, this is pretty dang good. I mean, I'm shocked that it's as balanced as it is. So
Hmm. All right. Well, that doesn't sound half bad. Surely better than what I'm drinking today,
and no
and higher than
question.
I'm going to rate. Am I breaking up here? Am I choppy?
Nope, you're good. All right now.
Okay, because you're kind of choppy, but so I had Lagunitas Nighttime Ale, Fear the Dark, which the label is I'd say misleading, but there's just nothing about it that actually tells really what kind of beer it is, and I had to look it up, which right off the bat I initially found intriguing, but actually more irritated that it wasn't more clearly stated on the label. But Lagunitas with their labeling, it's not necessarily uncommon for them. Um,
It has a dog, so that's
it
all you
does have
need.
a dog, so clearly this was Russian. So what I'm going to say is, since there wasn't really a style that's put out on the bottle, um, I'm going to have to go with a 5 out of 10. I'd say if they would have marketed this towards, like, if it would have said Imperial Stout or Russian Imperial, I would probably give it high marks for a good representation of the style. But since it's not marked on the bottle that it's one way or the other what it is, I honestly just feel like it's kind of all over the place and very hard to distinguish what to expect from it. Um, it's medium bodied, very dark fruit, plummy, salty, very Russian Imperial Stout tasting, and I don't really enjoy it.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Not your tea bag of whatever.
Yeah, we know this teabag. It's not
This
my
is
normal teabag. Meow.
meow. All right, well there you have it. I gave Mamma Mia Pizza Beer an 8 out of 10, and Justin gave Lagunitas Fear the Dark.
I am fearing the dark, and
He feared it too much.
I'm actually
5 out of
fearing the
10.
light now because I know what it is.
I wonder too, like is it just that your style or your taste buds are starting to adapt to other styles?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
trying to adapt other styles, really, but I mean, if we're still going, I guess the espresso side of stouts, like the creamier vanilla style of stouts. I'm actually enjoying far more, but as I'm getting into Russian Imperials, um, I'm just not a fan. It's kind of they've got like that caviar kind of feeling, like that really salty, just which is hit or miss. Thing is, I like caviar, but in a beer, it's just way too salty. It's too not gritty, but um, well, it's just like if you've ever had really oversalted food, like it's ruined right off the bat for me. So to have that quality, I just don't enjoy it.
All right.
And I'm still trying to try more of those, but I still not liked it. So
All right. Well, fair enough. That's it for the beer portion of our show. If you want to stick around, we're going to talk about a few things like movies and comics and things like that. And otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Most likely, I think. Yeah, maybe we might have to do a Friday one next week because we're actually in Grand Rapids Saturday. So, but thanks for tuning in, and we will see you later. Stick around if you want to, and we'll talk.
and like, subscribe,
Still
and
like
follow us
subscribe.
on Untapped at I think Justin Leveque and
He fed. Yeah, I think I'm just he fed on Untapped.
Ah,
We should add that to our
I know. And
our thingamabob.
when we're adding all of our additions,
Give us some beer cred. Yeah. So, all right.
that's really important to us. So
Absolutely. So let's talk about. Speaking of beer, I discovered a
are we talking about
unusual.
beer?
Yeah, you see my beer thing up there, don't you?
I did. It's
That's
so
my.
subtly placed.
I actually had to because I had originally put it way up here and it was out of frame, and I was like, oh, I should just redo it. I want to do like what Ian does at his brew pub in his basement. But that's what I've got brew wise. Tomorrow I get to drink Cook's Soft Saison, which I'm excited to see if that's smoothed out at all. That's the peach butter and blackberry jam saison that I did. And I tried a bottle last week. We had some people over, and just for fun, I cracked one open a week early just to see how it is. And it is a fruit bomb. It's huge, and it's the ABV has to be up towards 8 or 9%, maybe more. But I'd peg it at about 9%. And it's a little on the rough side. The next morning I did wake up with a bit of a headache. So I think it's only going to, and I knew this off the bat too, anytime you add fruit to beer, um, let it condition a little bit more than what you ordinarily would. Tomorrow is the first day that I'm officially supposed to be able to drink it, but if I let it sit in the fridge for another 4 weeks, I know it's going to be even better because it just does get better.
Are you getting a lot of sentiment in the bottle?
No, it's cleared up really good. There was quite a bit of sediment in the keg when I bottled it, and then of course it looks pretty cloudy when you put it into the bottle. But over the course of time, I mean, because you do 2 weeks sitting at room temp, so it's just sitting over there on one of my bookcases. That's my next batch, and it looks pretty cloudy. But you let it sit for just a couple days even, and it starts to go down. And the sugars that you add to the bottle actually eat the rest of the yeast or a lot of the yeast to convert to alcohol. And as that conditioning happens, then you get to see a clearing of the beer. And so by the time it goes in the fridge 2 weeks down the line, it's already pretty dang clear. You do get a little bit of that yeast and detritus at the bottom, but it's not much. And usually, it's like any beer that you buy that has that, and you just, you either drink it or you don't. I prefer to drink it. I like the yeast and all the stuff at the bottom. So pretty excited about that. And then the next one, the LBK. Let's see if I can post it right there. The LBK IPA is the first IPA that I brewed that had extra hops in it. So there's like 2 different varieties of hops that were added in a hop sack and brewed and added to the keg for 2 weeks. So it was an IPA to begin with, and then you add these other hops to give it a slightly different hoppy taste. And the taste test, when I bottled it, was hard to tell. It was, clearly an IPA in its early stages, but none of that sharp hoppy characteristic. It was more muddied and kind of like tastes like tea almost. So after conditioning, and I think right now it's been room conditioning. So tomorrow it goes to the fridge for 2 weeks, and that process will help even that stuff out and hopefully bring the hop characteristic up to a higher pitch. And I'm hoping for some, nice citrusy notes. Yeah.
Nice hoppy feedback.
Yes. That's what I'm hoping. And then I got the rhubarb grapefruit saison, which is in the keg right now, and I'll bottle that tomorrow.
That sounds exciting too.
And then I got to figure out what to brew tomorrow. I'm not sure. I've got a couple.
Your rhubarb's going to be available on 6/22.
Yeah, 6/22 is when it'll be ready to drink. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I get into town on the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm imagining you're going to be saving a portion of a bottle for me. So.
Yeah, there'll be plenty because after 3 batches, usually I'll have a few left. So yeah, I'll have a nice sampling ready for that. And we'll talk afterwards about scheduling and all that stuff. But
I'm expecting a flight to be ready for me.
Cool. Yeah, that should be no big deal. I gave away 2 bottles of the soft saison to Carla Cook because it was her jam that I used. I wanted her to taste it. And then so I've got 6 bottles. I used 1. I'll probably go through at least a couple. So I'll probably have 1 or 2 bottles left of the Cook saison by the time you roll into town. So we can definitely arrange something.
Wonderful.
But what I was gonna say is I discovered something accidentally the other day. So we have Greenbush is the brewery in Sawyer, and they have their standard IPA. I shouldn't say standard, but their go-to IPA is called Dune Grass. And yeah, you know it. And it's a nice sort of earthy. It's a nice.
I remember liking Dune Grass. It's a solid IPA.
Mm-hmm. Well, Juliet went and picked up a growler of that not long ago, and we had it in the fridge. And I came home the other night, and I was a little peckish, so I went into. And it was going to be a while before dinner, so I cracked open the fridge, poured a glass of Dune Grass, took a swig, fished around for something to eat. And I discovered some Greek yogurt, key lime pie yogurt. I like key lime pie stuff, key lime pie cheesecake, key lime pie, whatever. I just like key lime pie. And so I took a bite of this key lime pie yogurt, Greek yogurt, and then chased it with some of the Dune Grass. And wow, that friggin' works. That is a really good combo. I had no clue.
Interesting.
There's just something about the tart tanginess of both the Greek yogurt and the key limes, which tend to be kind of sweet, maybe not as sour as normal limes, and sort of creamier anyways, the key limes do. And that contrasted with the sort of rough hop characteristic of the beer just really played off nicely to one another.
So are you writing these down for your next next brew here?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm thinking I'm trying to figure out because I could totally add key limes straight to a brew. I've done that in the past. I did key lime marmalade with I think a Pilsner, and it was okay. The key limes didn't really come forth as much as I would have liked.
They watered down a bit, or
I really don't know. I
I
mean,
mean, key lime's
they were pretty
strong though.
pungent in the jam itself. They were pretty pungent,
Hmm.
but they just sort of lost themselves, and it added this weird sort of like just a little sour quality to the beer, which it was fine, but it wasn't what I had hoped. So
Right.
now I'm thinking that an IPA of that, there must be a match between the type of hops that are in Dune Grass and the key limes. There's something going on there. There's a nice little chemical reaction or whatever. So I'm going to try to replicate that in some fashion. But the trick is, how do I introduce the sort of cream or the milk, the dairy component without actually adding dairy? That's the part I need to figure out.
Could you do a vanilla key lime IPA?
I think that butt heads. Vanilla can be so overwhelming,
That's true.
and it adds a weird sweetness, which I kind of want to avoid. Juliet had the idea of creating cashew butter. You basically just take cashews and you can whip them up and let them sort of, I guess, ferment or whatever. You don't add any dairy to it at all. It's a vegan thing, but when they come out of it, it's like butter, and it's almost like a cream component that you can add other things to give them a creamy factor, like soups and that, but still maintain vegan uh, components. So I'm considering doing that because it actually doesn't lend any sort of cashew or nut quality to it. It's just sort of that way. So we'll see how that goes. That's my idea right now, anyways. But you should try it. I mean, if you've got an IPA, try dinking around with some key lime.
Well, definitely. Um, could you do a coconut lime IPA? Coconut and lime goes together, and that would substitute some kind of milky quality to it.
So do you put the lime in the coconut and then you drink it
I
all
think
up?
no, I think you mix it all up,
You mix it all up.
and
Okay.
then you do the yeah, and
You
then you
do
call the doctor to wake him up. I
you do the
remember,
hokey pokey and then yeah.
and then you teabag. Wait, what am I
What?
saying here?
Huh? Confusing your recipes. So, but
You're
anyways,
talking.
I wanted to mention that to you. So
That does sound exciting. I'll have to try that later this week.
it's fun. I mean, it's I don't know. Now I'm really sort of excited to get more yogurts and try different pairings with different beers and see like what might work
Then I can act like I'm eating healthy because I'm pairing my beer with my
with your yogurt.
yogurt. Well, bit of
Or
yogurt,
just
bit
dump
of
your
beer.
yogurt in the beer, mix it all up, drink it like a smoothie.
I think that would probably curdle, wouldn't it?
Probably. Yeah.
Who
I've
doesn't
never
love
actually tried
curdle
it, but
drinks?
hey, I put
Cement beers
I
are
put bacon in beer, so whatever. Anything can go in beer. Pizza and beer. All right, so I want to tell you about a couple movies I saw.
okay. The
Uh,
Lego Movie. Did you finally watch it?
I know the Lego Movie just came on Xbox on the
Well, everything is awesome.
to rent, so I it's definitely on my list, but I think they're charging an arm and a leg to rent it right now. So
$12.99
yeah, so I'll hold off until that comes down
to buy it. Come on,
to buy. Yeah,
you're gonna
well,
want to buy it. You're gonna want to buy it.
okay. So I saw two movies, and both of these were on Netflix DVD, so you don't have me. But who knows? Maybe they're on Amazon. I haven't looked. The first one is called Grand Piano.
Can't say I've
It's
heard of it.
it stars Elijah Wood and John Cusack,
Ooh,
and it's about a concert pianist. Yes, Ian, I said pianist, and
teabag.
who is returning to the stage after having screwed up and choked on a particular um, routine. And he's after 5 years, he was disgraced, but he's married to this famous actress, and he's returning to the concert hall to redeem himself. But unfortunately, there is an assassin in the wings, and who's threatening to kill him if he plays one note wrong. And it's as cheesy and as fun as it sounds. My wife hated it. She absolutely hated it.
I'm really
I
not surprised by that.
I really really liked it. It had many nods to Hitchcock. It's the same sort of Hitchcock setup that you would find in Torn Curtain or Rear Window or any of those sort of like, man who is mistaken for a bad guy kind of thing. And it's a lot of fun. It's if you go into it thinking that it's going to be a great mystery or suspense thriller, it's not taking itself seriously at all. It's having some fun.
So who's the pianist, John Cusack or Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood
Elijah
is the
Wood, okay.
pianist, yes, and John Cusack is the man in the wings.
Weird.
And
John
you
Cusack as an assassin.
you only see him for about 15 minutes at the end. The rest of it is him talking.
Oh, nice.
So
Is
it's
he
kind
having
of fun.
internal turmoil throughout the entire thing?
It's there
I'm
there are
having
twists and
dreams about this
turns.
high school sweetheart, and just
No.
it's interfering with my assassinating career, and I don't know. Like,
Yeah. You kind of seen that, right? You kind of seen that. No,
I've
it's
never seen John Cusack in a movie where he shoots guns or
never,
assassinates people
never.
or has problems.
No, it's a lot of fun, and it doesn't go where you sort of expect it to go. So there's some things that happen that are subvert your expectations, and it's a lot of fun. So I'd recommend just go into it with open expectations and just have fun with it. Drink it up. There's some really good camera work in it. The cinematography is pretty nice, and actually the music's pretty good too. And you just have to kind of like suspend your disbelief for a bit. It's not something that's going to happen in the real world.
Or is it?
Yeah. Well, Elijah Wood is in a band, so
Right.
I guess. And I'm still like trying to figure out, did he actually play a lot of that stuff? Because it was some really good piano work. It was pretty spectacular. Okay, so that's one movie. Yesterday, I watched a horror film called The Loved Ones.
Why does that sound familiar?
The Loved Ones, and it's probably one of the best horror films I've seen in a while. I don't want to give anything away. But it's an Aussie horror film, so it takes place in the outback, and but it's a nice sort of 80s. It's hard to compare it to anything. It's pretty well acted, but the thing that strikes you the most is the brutality. It's one of the goriest and most uncomfortable movies I've seen in a while. In a good way. In a good way. And it's got its tongue firmly in cheek in certain scenes. It's the deep black comedy stuff, really uncomfortable, squirm in your chair kind of things. And it's just a lot of fun. I would recommend it if you're in the mood for gore. It kind of looks like a setup to your typical torture porn movie, but it's a lot better than that. It's pretty good. I mean, there are a couple scenes where people essentially fall. This is like the earmark of quality in my book. They're in a scene, a guy falls from a tree. And when he comes down and hits the car, it's so painfully awkward. They shoot it medium, so the car's there and two people are there.
Right.
And he comes down on the car and he's just like head first blah, 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 on the side of the car. Blah, blah, blah. It's just like, how? It doesn't look like it's a dummy. It looks like it's a guy. And there's another scene where one of the major actors, gets it. And when he falls and hits like the side of this pit and just like it's just like, holy cow! How did they do that?
Is it like that scene in Titanic when the guy hits the propeller and you're just like?
Yeah, you kind of yes.
Because that was the only part in that movie that had any kind of gore, but it was also just. It looked ridiculous, but at the same time, you're still just kind of awestruck. Like, wow, that's how the body actually like bends and folds around things. yeah, it's always nice when movie makers pull that kind of thing off, like that whole ragdoll effect of, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
you
so
don't see it
satisfying.
nearly enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like because if this were a Hollywood movie, it'd be they would just
Right.
fall dramatically to the whatever, and there would be no sort of tied to realism, and here you're just like, oh wow, fuck, that's gonna hurt, that's gonna leave a mark.
I feel like
So
we have the makings of our next film.
people falling
It's called Falling Down,
instead of faces of death, it's faces of falling.
and it's starring Michael
Faces of
Douglas.
falling. Yes. So those were my two things. I can't recommend the Loved Ones enough. The grand piano might be depending on your mood, and if you go into it with the right attitude, I think it could be great. So
So The Loved Ones and Grand Piano. Okay.
indeed.
Well, since I just finished the House series, I think I can move back onto movies for a little while. So
Now that you're all caught up on certain TV,
yeah, pretty much.
pretty much.
Yeah, I'm trying to
And you've been just like more or less working these days, haven't you?
yeah, I've been doing
Working
way
on your
more
projects
working.
and working.
Yeah, so I haven't had a lot of time to actually sit down and watch a movie and really enjoy it, which is where House comes in nicely because I just get to hear a lot of sarcasm and a lot of bickering and pretty much ignore what's going on in the show because outside of that, it's all just kind of random BS. So it's always fun hearing Hugh Laurie run people down. But on that note, TV series and whatnot, Orange is the New Black starts in like 12 days, something
Super
like that.
excited.
Six,
Yeah.
yeah, almost about 12 days. And then Derek starts in
Oh yeah.
like 2 or 3 weeks. No, he's the end of June.
And then June, okay.
Orange is the New Black starts the first week of June, and I think Derek is the end of June. So those will both be, that'll be one night.
Yeah. Well, isn't Hemlock Grove starting up too?
I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about that.
I thought that was coming up pretty quick here too. It
I'm
seems
wondering
like
how many
they're
episodes Derek's doing this time. Same thing with Orange is the New Black, because they had, was it 6 episodes for Derek last season?
yeah, I think Derek was 6, and I'll bet you anything they'll stick with that.
It's just not enough.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because
And their segments are so short too, because they're not even 45 minutes, are they? They're like 20.
No, they're
They're
really
like
short.
23 minutes, I thought.
Yeah. Well, Orange is the New Black is a bona fide Netflix show.
Right.
Derek is actually just essentially, I think Netflix might be a producer or something, or the exclusive distributor in the U.S. But I'm pretty sure Derek is, I think, done for BBC or something overseas. So I think there's a split sort of thing going on there. And as you know, most British series comedies are usually about 6 episodes, and then they prefer quality over quantity. So
Which is fair. And if you've seen Derek, you would know that those 6 episodes
yeah,
is enough.
they're amazing.
It's more than enough. It's more than most quality shows having, most shows having 13 to 23 episodes, or 23 episodes in a season.
Yeah, and thankfully we're starting to see that more and more in the U.S. because they understand that people want good quality at a shorter run, and they can sort of turn over different series at a different rate. So you're seeing that trend. You're starting to see, rather than like a 26 episode season, you're starting to see a tightening up of 13 and in some cases 8 or 9.
Which in terms of quality is fantastic, considering by the time you get to the 13th out of the 23rd episode, you're wishing it would have ended already.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing when you run a series for 15 seasons.
Oh yeah, I remember
23 episodes. You're just going, all right, seeing this. Like even with House, it started. I watched. There's 8 seasons of House, and about the second or third, character transitions are I mean, they do a pretty good job of stretching them out over 8 seasons. But as far as medically, like the excitement of the show, it starts. There's like 8 episodes in a row where someone has a liver problem, and like 15 in a row where they have some kind of, and that's the problem with those medical shows, anyways. With same thing with ER and Grey's Anatomy and stuff. How many medical problems can there possibly be
Right.
until it just gets like completely obscene?
That
Which, if
that's the
you're gonna go
problem.
that route, I would just rather see completely obscene for an entire, 6 episodes. Like,
That's it. Yeah, it's they essentially try to squeeze as much juice out of the creators of these series as possible, and then all you get out of that equation is redundancy and
right,
repetitiveness. And so, at least with like Derek, Ricky Gervais can go in with like a complete concept and execute it within the space of 7 episodes, whatever it is. And I'd much rather see that any day of the week because that series still sticks with me. And I guess the one thing I think of is the British Office versus the American Office, and how
right.
the British Office there's what like 5 or 6 episodes, and it's such a classic.
I think it's half as many episodes as the American version, but I mean
And
the
then the
dry
American
humor
version is just
is much better
season after
executed,
season
anyways.
after season,
Right.
and repetition. Okay, Dwight and Jim are having a spat. It. Uh, it's just a repetitiveness, and that's where you get like, Friends, for instance, where you get the multiple romances to sort of spice things up again. And Jesus Christ, who wants to watch that?
They're bringing Friends back, aren't they? Well, Friends is supposedly doing a return um,
A
like they're
reunion.
doing one season, like a return season or something like that.
I look forward to not watching that.
I look forward to now watching that as well. Seinfeld, however, there's also news about that a little while ago of George and Seinfeld filming with Larry David at the Classic Cafe. There's good trivia for you.
Yeah, that's
Um,
Tom's Diner.
yeah,
That's what it was. I
they're
think.
wondering what's going
Show.
on with that.
Well, they did that. They did the comedians in cars
Right.
getting coffee. They did that little spoof.
Oh, right.
Have you seen that?
No, I've not seen it yet.
It's on Crackle. You, sh-
Oh.
you should watch the whole series of comedians in cars getting coffee because
I know I watched the first 6 or 7 episodes.
I would say the Louis one, Louis C.K. in season 2 is just like the best. That's the best episode yet.
I'm still laughing at the one with Ricky Gervais where he's scared about how he's driving the entire episode.
Yeah.
It's like, what's this bar for? Like, they actually make a bar to hang on to be, in case there's an accident. The oh shit bar. What
That's right.
they need this year. Um, have you been out to see Godzilla yet?
Nope, have not been able to see Godzilla. I kind of wanted to go see it at Alamo, and I was going to check and see if E was doing anything. Just got to carve out the time is the only deal, but I'd like to go see it. I don't know if he's seen it yet or not, but he was talking about possibly going to see it with me. But I don't know, and the Alamo's the only place I will go see it,
Of
so
course.
that's just have to kind of figure that out. We're on vacation this week, but we've got to take care of a few things here and there. But it would be nice to get there. I don't think Juliet has any desire to see it at all, so it would be me by myself or E if he's up for it. So,
Well, you should probably hit that soon.
what about you?
I'm gonna go see it. I'm thinking next week probably.
Okay.
There's a couple theaters in the area that are. I mean, there's one that's a street down and a street over that I can watch it at. There's another one that I walk past pretty much every day for work to go see it. I am interested in watching Godzilla, the new one. There seems to be a lot of good hype about it and the direction that they took it for once. So
Yeah, I mean it's all about the monster, and I hear that they play that pretty nicely. You saw Gareth Edwards' first movie, right? Monsters.
No, I don't believe I have.
Add that to your list because that's pretty good. That's where the uh, guy goes to Mexico
Oh
to
yeah,
rescue the girl. You
I
saw
think
it.
I got about halfway through it.
Yeah, that's that's I love that setup. That's that whole like, oh, there's monsters here by the way, and this is pretty much it, and here's the quarantine area. And I like sort of like being in that world where it's already de facto that there are these gigantic monsters around, and then like there's this human drama going on that has nothing to do with the monsters. The monsters are just sort of like slight obstacles, but then at the end things get rolling. So
See, and that's what was bothering me about it. It was really slow. I remember getting through the first half hour, 45 minutes, and it was just
yeah,
still, the drama between
the crappy little girl and
yeah.
the guy sent to bring her back home.
But it was also like, was it B3 or
Yeah, District 9.
District 9, where everybody knows it's kind of going on, and there's all those ethical questions about how to treat them and all those sorts of things, which is definitely fun to. I like where they're. I can definitely enjoy a monster or alien movie where it's not, or where it's already established they're there, rather than they're just now invading. It's how do we live with these things like once they're already here, and how they're actually having an effect on society if they're not leaving and they're not, picking a fight more or less.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that sort of, where the situation has already been. You sort of start in media res, in the middle
Right.
of the action, and by then like everything is just sort of you know this is just simply the way it is. Like what's the one I'm thinking of? 28 Weeks Later is a great example.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the situation is, and now it's all about the drama and stuff, but then the situation reasserts itself. That I like that where it's like, okay, we're at this sort of stasis point where we're safe and everything's okay, so let's deal with these other human things, and then they lose focus on what's really important, and then like, oh crap, here come the monsters again. So yeah, I like that sort of setup. That's fun.
Definitely.
All right, well, let's wrap this up.
Sounds like a
Get on
plan.
with the rest of our Saturday. I think we're either gonna go out to dinner or maybe cook something on the grill. Would be nice too. Beautiful day out. I mean, this has been a beautiful freaking week.
Yeah, we've been in the high 50s, 60s, and even 70s a couple days this week. So,
Nice.
and it's looking pretty sunny and warm out today too, which is why I think my friends are grilling out.
I was gonna say, do you guys have a grill there?
We do not have a grill here.
Oh,
Otherwise, I'd be on it probably.
well,
I need to find friends with grills. So,
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say you should definitely hit up the salmon thing. That'd be fun.
yeah, it's either that or pizza. Now that you have got me going on that one.
You could do both. Just take a pizza to grill on the grill.
There you go.
Just say, here, would you mind putting this next to the fish?
I could always grill the crust on the, or I could always grill the crust and then put the salmon on it.
Oh yeah. Fold it up like a sandwich, just eat it,
Well,
eyes and all, the crushed little skull between your teeth.
that sounds wonderful.
Fishy, fishy. All right, brother. Well, you enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
You do the same.
Peace.
Adios, muchacho.